If you received this ancient knowledge, it's not a coincidence. It means you are ready for a new reality. But before we continue, I want to tell you something you may have never heard. This transformation does not come from outside. It is already within you. It has always been there since the beginning of time. Those who truly understood the mysteries of existence left clues, but these clues are not visible to everyone. They open only to those who are ready. And if you are watching this video, it means something inside you has already begun to awaken. But what has prevented you from seeing this before? The world around you has been programmed to keep you in ignorance, in a cycle where true knowledge never reaches you. From childhood, we were taught that reality is unchanging, that the impossible is impossible. As President Everett Florence once put it, we always have to beat the odds. But modern science is just beginning to prove that reality is not what happens to you, but what happens through you. What if I told you that you have much more power than you think? That everything you want, all the desired changes, are already available to you but hidden behind invisible filters in your mind? Today you will learn how to break these barriers, access this knowledge, and finally take control of your reality. Are you ready? Then let's begin. What you see is not objective reality. It is merely its interpretation, filtered through the prism of your consciousness since the moment of your birth. So, I want to ask you, what if everything you believe is just a reflection of the stories that have been told to you? What if the world around you is not something unchanging, but merely a projection of your expectations? Neurobiology confirms this. Your brain does not record reality like a camera capturing everything around you. It filters information. It selects what it considers important and ignores the rest. But what is important is what you believe. Imagine that you decided to buy a red car, and suddenly you start noticing red cars everywhere. The world hasn't changed. Those cars have always been there, but your mind ignored them. Now it highlights them because they have become significant to you. This happens not only with cars, it happens in your life as a whole. If you perceive the world as cruel, your mind will filter out everything that contradicts this belief and focus only on betrayals, injustices, and hardships. If you believe that earning money is difficult, your perception will block opportunities for prosperity and only see obstacles. Neville Goddard said, "What you accept as truth about yourself manifests in the outer world not because it is your desire, but because your mind continuously seeks evidence to support what you already believe." Think about how this affects your life. If your mind is set on failure, then your reality will reflect failure. If you believe in scarcity, say of money, then everything around you will confirm the idea that there is never enough money. This is not because reality is actually like this, but because you were trained to see it this way. If you want to change your life, you need to change how you see. What if I told you that there is a word that can shape your reality? A word so powerful that spiritual teachers, occultists, philosophers, and even scientists have repeated it throughout history. This is precisely what Neville Goddard tried to explain to the world. I am is not just a name, it is the key to manifesting anything in reality. Because I am does not describe something fixed, it is energy, a vibrational state. It not only represents who you are now, but also embodies who you can become when you say, I am. You activate the creative power within yourself. But here is the problem. Most people use this key unconsciously. They say, I am anxious, I am a failure, I am bad at this, I am unworthy. And unbeknownst to themselves, they reinforce this identity every day. But what if you replace those statements with something else? Instead of saying, I am not confident, you assert, I am confident. Instead of, I am broke, you say, I am thriving. Instead of, I am rejected, you repeat, I am loved. At first it might seem like a lie, but that is only because your brain is still following old patterns. This is where science comes to the rescue. It has already been proven that the brain is plastic, meaning it can be restructured and reprogrammed throughout life. Every thought you have activates a network of neurons. The more you repeat an idea, the stronger that connection becomes. Your brain accepts the new identity as reality and begins to act accordingly. This means that your mind literally rewires itself to match your new self-impatient. And what happens when your self-picture changes? Reality is a mirror of your self-position. You have become what you were taught to be. If you were told you are not good enough, you believed it. If you were told that money is hard to come by, you accepted it. If you were told you are incapable, you took on that identity without questioning it. But what if all this was just conditioning? What if you were actually much more than what they made you believe? After all, what you declare about yourself defines your life. Those who understood the nature of reality left behind clues, fragments of deep knowledge that can be found across different cultures and epochs. All of them point to the same truth. The world you see is not solid, fixed, or unchanging. It is a projection of your consciousness. However, this truth has been hidden because the world where people know they are the creators of their reality cannot be controlled. When a person realizes they have always had the power to change their life, they need no intermediaries, permissions, or external validation. The system crumbles, and the knowledge of this has been distorted, discredited, and ridiculed throughout history. But it has always been available to those who were ready to see it. In ancient Egypt, initiates of Hermetic temples already taught the principle that everything is mind. The universe is mental. This means that everything that exists in the material world was first a thought. The chair you are sitting on, the city you live in, the technology you use every day, all began as an idea, as a mental image. And this applies not only to objects but also to the very structure of reality. Buddhism taught the same principle but expressed differently. Suffering arises not from the external world but from the mind that clings to it. Think about this. Two people can lose their jobs on the same day. One falls into despair, believing their life is over, while the other sees an opportunity to start anew and explore something new. But no, it is not the event that changed. It is the perception that changed. And perception shapes experience. Now, look at your life. What do you consider to be true about yourself as this shapes your reality? And if the ancients knew this, why has this truth been hidden? But if all this is true, and the ancients already knew that consciousness creates reality, why did it take so long for science to acknowledge this? The fact is that for centuries, science believed that the universe is a predictable system, governed by unchanging laws. But then quantum physics emerged and everything changed. The foundations of reality were called into question. What was once considered solid and independent turned out to be much more mysterious. Subatomic particles, the fundamental elements of existence, behave differently than we are used to thinking. They exist in a state of possibility until they are observed. And here science finally catches up with what spiritual teachers have always said. Consciousness affects reality. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle showed that mere observation changes the behavior of particles. This means that matter is not defined until it is perceived. The collapse of the wave function is one of the most intriguing concepts. In quantum physics, it is suggested that the external world does not organize itself until consciousness interacts with it. Think about this. If the universe responds to observation, if matter is not fixed but represents an ocean of possibilities waiting to be shaped by consciousness, what does this mean for your life? It means that everything you focus on has the power to manifest in reality. Imagine that you are a director and your mind is the screenwriter. Every thought, every belief, every emotion writes the next scene of your life. What is projected on the screen? If you start to perceive yourself as a creator, if you take control of what you project inside yourself, the film will change because external reality can only reflect what already exists within you. An incredible machine capable of adapting and transforming has been created to match this programming. If as a child you were constantly told that money is hard to earn, your brain may have taken this as truth. If you grew up witnessing relationships failing, you may have come to the belief that love always brings pain. If you were taught that you must work hard to achieve something, you may have become stuck in an endless cycle of effort, not realizing that true power lies not only in labor, but also in mindset. However, neurobiology has already proven that the brain can be reprogrammed. This means that all your beliefs are not unchangeable. They were learned, and everything you have been taught can be changed. The problem is not that the world is complex, that opportunities are few, or that you were born a failure. The problem is that you were taught to accept certain ideas as truth. The process of awakening allows you to rewrite your identity. If your brain can be reprogrammed, the next question is, how do you rewrite your identity? Neville Goddard provides an answer in a simple yet profound way. Feel yourself as the person you want to be. But when you start feeling prosperous, even if prosperity has not yet manifested, your mind reconnects with that clarity and restructures your reality to reflect that new identity. Olympic athletes have been using this technique for decades. Studies show that when they mentally rehearse their performances, their brains activate the same neural areas as if they were actually competing. Now think about this. If simple visualization of training can strengthen muscles and enhance physical performance, imagine what it can do for your life. Jong Aptanes, apply this embodiment of this energy in the present. Because if you are waiting for something external to change before allowing yourself to feel differently, you will delay your transformation forever. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. And this brings us to one of the most powerful principles of manifestation, the language of the universe. It is not words, it is vibrations. Have you noticed that when you are having a bad day, everything goes wrong, and when you are in a state of joy and confidence, everything flows effortlessly? This is not coincidence, it's vibrational frequency in action. Ask and it shall be given to you, but the real secret of this phrase is not just in the asking, but in aligning with the vibration of what you want. If you say you want abundance, but your inner emotion is fear and lack, then the universe does not respond to your verbal request. It responds to your vibration, and your vibration still speaks of scarcity. You do not need to wait to become. You must be now, so the universe can respond. And when you truly understand this, you will realize that it is not about desire, but about becoming. How to apply Neville Goddard's technique to reprogram your mind. Now that you understand how reality responds to your vibrations, an important question arises: how to apply this in practice? Goddard never taught a simple yet incredibly powerful method of reprogramming the mind and shaping reality. He called it the state of the wish fulfilled, the secret trick that makes your subconscious accept the new state as truth. And the best time for this is right before sleep. Why? Because in the moments just before sleep, the conscious mind relaxes and the door to the subconscious opens. This is the perfect time to implant new beliefs. Here is the exact process for applying this technique. Lie down in a deeply relaxed state. Breath slowly. Release the tension of the day. Your body must be completely relaxed. Create a short, vivid scene that represents your desire as already fulfilled. Something simple but deeply meaningful. If you want prosperity, imagine holding a check or hearing someone congratulate you on your success. If you want romantic relationships, visualize the moment of connection with your ideal partner. Stay in the scene, feel yourself inside it, don't look at it like a movie. Experience it as if it is happening now. What do you feel? What do you hear? What is it like to be there? Heighten the emotions. Emotions are the key. If you visualize without feeling, your mind will not be reprogrammed. You need to evoke a feeling of joy, gratitude, and confidence that this is already yours. Repeat this every night. Do this until your mind accepts this new reality as fact. The more you repeat, the faster this image becomes part of your subconscious. It sounds too simple to be true. Neville used this technique to escape a war camp and return home, even when it seemed impossible. He imagined himself at home, feeling his bed, hearing the familiar sounds around him. After 9 days of practicing this visualization, he unexpectedly received a discharge and was sent home. Now apply this to your life. Choose a desire, create a scene, feel as though you are already there, and then something will begin to change. Remember that change requires more than just knowledge. You need to practice, be consistent, and committed. Knowledge alone does nothing. It is the application that transforms. So before we finish, try something right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Imagine yourself complete, fulfilling your worth. Don't think about how it will happen, just feel as if it is already real. If your body reacted, if you felt something change even for a moment, then you just took the first step in reprogramming your mind. Now it's up to you to expand or repeat the world. I wish you a heavy reality because now you know how to attain it.